We got some special guests today, bro. OGs. Before we start, shout first 450 le podcast. Qu'est-ce qui se passe tout le monde? Ici Jado, tu connais les bails.
We can do the episodes in English.
Yeah.
We can't say 450 the podcast.
Non, exact. C'est 450 le podcast. Qu'est-ce qui se passe tout le monde? Jado. Aujourd'hui, c'est en anglais. Alright? Tu comprends pas? Mais Google Translate. Light work. Welcome. We've got my boy Rob.
Thank you.
My boy Chris. 2 black belts from TriStar. Yo, before we get into that, let's talk about the sponsors. Java Coffee, support local. This is the coffee we offer at the Academy. We sell the coffee over here. It's made by a guy who does jiu-jitsu. So shout out to him. Use the code 450 jiu-jitsu. You get 10% off your orders.
Everybody's drinking white belt right now.
Yeah, white belt coffee, highest
Jado's
caffeine.
favorite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you know the white belt
Fantastic.
coffee is the best-selling coffee.
Because of who?
I wonder why.
Yeah, keep talking about that white belt. Get your stuff. All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. I like the coffee. Second sponsor, James Togg, Frontline Conditioning. We repeat it every fucking episode. He's the best when it comes to it. If you want to get in shape, if you want to do jiu-jitsu.
So funny story. Just now, we were talking about James, me and Chris, and Rob's like, "Who's James?" And we said, "Oh, it's Jad, the strength and conditioning coach." He looked at us. He said, it's okay. He's legit."
I said, this guy, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah, he's a G, bro. Shout out to him. If you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to get better at your sport, whatever sport. We talk a lot about jiu-jitsu, but he does football players, basketball players, swimmers.
We're gonna have
all
him
that.
back on. It was a good episode.
bro.
Fuck. We're in a jiu-jitsu academy, eh?
What a fucking great ad for the third sponsor, 450 Jiu-Jitsu L'Académie. If you want to train some no-gi jiu-jitsu, high-level jiu-jitsu that comes from TriStar like these boys and myself, come to 450 Jiu-Jitsu. We train hard. We have a good vibe. Ça chill. Yeah.
Tu connais le bail.
Tu connais le bail. Tell him, Rob.
Bail.
Tell him, Rob. Tell him.
Tu connais le bail.
Tu connais
And
le bail.
starting when this episode's going to be out, come check out 450 Jiu-Jitsu Terrebonne.
Yep, Terrebonne is the second location, and we're very excited for that. We're going to offer...
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Amazing. Super happy
Thanks,
for you
man.
guys.
See the gym grow.
Thanks, man. In a short time, you know?
Crazy short time.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
to see it.
But, bro, it's... If you... Look, you can beat around the bush as much as you want, right? But this is what I decided to do. Teach jiu-jitsu. All right, if I want to make a living out of this, bro, there's a business aspect to it, you know?
100%.
And if there's an opportunity and we have a good way of doing it and we like to do it and we enjoy doing it and we want to do more of it, why the fuck not, no?
The thing is, I think Jad and I make the best partnership there is. You know, like we both have
you can see that.
our set responsibilities, and everybody excels in their responsibilities. So it makes it like him. He couldn't do it himself. I mean, he could, but he wouldn't have the success he has today. And
I'd
I
have a
couldn't-
basement on Curé-Labelle, you know, with like
you
1,000
both
square
guys.
foot. Be like, yo, class is at 6:30 if you want.
And then I couldn't do it without his face. I mean, he's the poster
Absolutely.
boy of the gym and the academy and the.
And the knowledge he brings from the... No, it's an amazing partnership, guys.
Thanks.
It's important to have both of those sides. You know?
Yeah.
The business side, the jiu-jitsu side, but you also do jiu-jitsu. You're also very good at jiu-jitsu,
Suck
so
at
that
it,
so
but-
that helps. No. So that helps.
I hate when he does that.
You know? Yeah.
so
Don't
good.
downplay your jiu-jitsu.
I
I
suck
did
at
this
it.
for way too
Bro,
long.
that's what he does this to
Don't
me
do
all
it.
the time. He tells me every day I suck.
I
at
can
jiu-jitsu.
tell you. And you can tell, but you can tell me.
Yeah, he can tell you. You can't tell yourself. You
Yeah,
suck at
like I'll tell you suck, and then you'll tell me I suck, and I'm like, I'll beat the shit out of you. I'll beat the shit. That's how it goes. Not I suck. Don't say I suck. You're good at jiu-jitsu, bro.
Thank you.
You're a fucking Firas purple belt, bro.
That's it. Exactly. That's
So when you say you suck at jiu-jitsu,
I
yo Firas, coach,
yeah, you're shitting on all
Sensei.
the other purple belts at
son,
TriStar.
yo, and yo, last but not least, our fourth
Let's not
sponsor,
forget.
the most important one, actually, bro. Sorry,
Ah, bro,
guys.
tiens-le par là-bas.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it from here. I just want to show you guys. We've had a
Until
lot
we
of
get
them.
until we get a proper signage.
Yeah. Shout out Georges Mitry, agent immobilier. This is my best friend. He's been on the podcast a couple of times. Georges Mitry is a renowned agent immobilier. I know you think I'm joking, but to be honest, he's my best friend. And I see him work when we're hanging out, bro. We go to play spike ball and swim in a pool, and he's on his fucking laptop, and I get mad at him, but this is professionalism. 27-year-old. Yeah, motivated, does great work, especially in good areas in the North Shore.
Owns the fucking Fontainebleau.
Yeah, Fontainebleau area, Blainville. He works a lot there. Scanelli, bye. So shout out Georges Mitri. His number, everything. You guys can find him on Instagram everywhere. Now, let's get to the gritty bitty part. What up, black belt?
Shit.
What's happening, black belt? How does it feel to be a black
How
belt,
does
dog?
it feel to get a black belt from Firas?
Yo, that's mental, bro.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
I wanna.
It is.
It's so crazy. It's the complete opposite, bro. This guy got a
Both
black
their
belt
story.
after being there for a quarter of his life. This guy got a black belt after being there for a year and a half, bro.
Yeah.
But he was already a brown belt. The way I said it
you
sounds
can't
wrong.
say it like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know?
He was
Chris
a brown
an
belt. He's
amazing
been training.
practitioner before
Of
he
course.
gets there.
No, but I meant
he comes
like
into the
I've
room
been
and starts
training for a year and a
wrecking
half.
everyone.
no, but I mean like the difference. Like
Yeah.
you're both
Yeah,
black
different
belts from
stories.
Firas.
You
You know
started
what?
as a white belt with Firas.
No, I
No,
didn't.
no.
I started at BTT.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I started at BTT.
He's
I got
an
my,
OG,
I
bro.
got my blue belt at BTT, but this is when BTT was still at a gym called Gamma. And like Fabio was still in that gym, and he was running BTT out of there. And then he had gotten so big that it was just too big, so he left and he opened
His
the
own BTT.
headquarters.
Yeah.
And then it started growing from there. So yeah, I moved with him from Gamma. I went there for a little bit, and then they just didn't have much striking and MMA, and he was still growing. So Alex Morgan and Xavier were like, Aloui were like, because we were fighting all on the same cards all the time, and they're like, come to TriStar, come to TriStar, come to TriStar. And then
Okay.
I left BTT. I came to TriStar.
Because you were MMA guy.
Yeah, I was Muay Thai and MMA.
Crazy Muay Thai.
I was fighting like both, and my Muay Thai coach had left as well. Gamma, he left. He was doing his doctorate at McGill, so he left. So I lost my Muay Thai coach, and then I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? So those guys, they kind of like coerced me to come to TriStar.
Shout out Alex Morgan.
Alex Morgan and Xavier Aloui.
TriStar West
these are my
Island.
boys
TriStar.
from-
Oh, geez.
These are my boys from forever. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Now they open the other TriStars.
Yeah, TriStar Rivenal, TriStar West Island. Shout out to them.
Exactly. So I went to
the-
TriStar. They made the introduction to Firas, and then I've been there ever since. It's
You've
like-
been in the
it's been
game
like
for
12 years.
how many years?
I've been doing Muay Thai like 20 years, and MMA, Jiu-Jitsu 14, Jiu-Jitsu 14 years now. Yeah, coaching for like 15 in total.
Insane.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Insane.
What was the
been a long
feeling
time.
getting a black belt wrapped on your waist from
Really
Firas?
special.
Yeah, eh?
Really special for me.
And it sounds kind of
Really
like it's
special for
cliche.
me.
Like we make fun of all these guys,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, don't be a fucking
you know-
jiu-jitsu. And then you get your black belt and you're like, I love this. That's amazing.
It's like, and it's for me. It was special because it's what Firas gave me. Especially 'cause, like I'm not from here. I'm from Ontario, right?
Yeah.
So coming here, my family, everyone's back in Ontario, and Firas really became like a father figure to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw, bro.
And then he gave me like such amazing opportunities at TriStar. He started letting me coach there pretty easily, and then he never took anything from me from coaching. Like a lot of gyms, they go and they take like half of these guys'
Money.
It's insane what they're taking, and they have to rent the space, and they take their purse, and they take all these things. And Firas was always like, if they're not a member of the gym, they pay $10 when they come in. If they are a member of the gym, you take everything you want from them.
Uh-huh.
And it's been like that ever since I got there.
Very generous individual.
I think Firas sees
amazing.
payment with, like, effort.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, bro,
Exactly.
you say you didn't pay him, but how many camps, like, how many people have you taken punches from? How many people have choked you? How
Exactly.
many
Sparring
people?
partners,
Yeah.
training partners.
Anytime Firas says something, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You give it
What does
back
that remind
so
you
much.
of?
I don't think twice. Yeah.
What does that remind you of? Every time Firas asks something, he says yes. It's so Lebanese, bro. That's how, I was telling
But
him.
it's
I was
just,
talking
yeah.
about this yesterday. About my dad. Like, bro, I was driving to the beach. I was 10 minutes away from the beach.
With his boys in the car on the 640,
Yeah,
mind
but
you.
it doesn't
Calls,
matter.
yo,
Yeah.
mama, mi mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, Ramen, bring me back to my car. What the
That's it.
bro? Don't ask questions.
Exactly. It's
I'm
just-
27. Or drop me here. I'll take an Uber. Like,
That's it.
I'm going
It
back
doesn't
right now.
matter. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
There's
That's
nothing. They're like, bro, we're at the beach. Like, and even if I get there and I could have done the work after, it's not an excuse.
No.
There's no I could do it. It's like, yo, you show up now. Okay,
That's
now
right.
this is now, and that's how. And for us, that's I think how I got close to him too. That relationship is like it's so easy for me to understand. Like, oh, okay, you just want me to work hard. All right.
Yeah. I'm
But
gonna
you
do
were
it
saying
because
one
you give
thing
me so
about
much.
Firas being paid in work. Like, yeah, okay, the training camps and all that. But also, if Rob was in there once a week,
That's
teaching
why.
like, he'll give you all this, but he'll expect you to be there every day, training every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You pay with work.
You earn trust,
Yeah.
bro. It's how you earn trust. Like
That's why I feel like he likes me less since I opened the academy. Because I'm not there.
It's not that he doesn't like you less. It's just, and this is...
And I know...
So another thing is, so for the last, 12 years I've been at TriStar, every day I've walked into this gym, I've been stressed. Every day. Brother, every single day I'm stressed. I walk into the gym, and I'm stressed because I don't want to let Firas down.
Yeah.
I don't want to let him down. I want him to know I'm training hard because he's given me all these things. I want to show him that I'm so appreciative of what he's given me, that I want to work hard, and I want to show him that I'm worthy of whatever he thinks I am worthy of. Because he doesn't give the people who deserve chances a lot of chances because he thinks you should know better already.
Yeah.
He gives the people who don't deserve chances a lot of freaking chances because he understands that they need more chances.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I see how.
So you can't fuck up a lot.
Yeah.
With him, and if you do, he's gonna let you know because he expects better of you. Mm-hmm. So every day stress. 12 years stressed. I got my black belt. I'm no longer stressed. I'm no longer stressed. It's been like 2 weeks. Every day I wake up. And I'm like, I'm not stressed no more. Life is good. And they always say, don't chase the belt. Don't chase the color of the belt. Belt means nothing. Yo, fuck right off. The belt means everything because it's coming from him.
Yeah. And if you have a good relationship with your coach, it means a lot, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for the amount of time it takes to get one from him, and people who don't get it from him, they won't understand. But it means everything to me. This belt, it means everything to me.
Yeah, very well.
Everything to me.
Hard earned, bro.
Fucking earned.
So, yeah. I'm very happy.
Hard earned, brother. Yeah.
What about you? How did it feel?
Felt crazy, man. Like same thing as Rob. Like obviously, it felt super surreal getting it from Coach Firas.
It's nice not being Lebanese and getting a coach from a Lebanese guy.
Can't complain. But no, it was a special moment. Like I think for me, like you said, like I haven't been with TriStar super long, like Rob, but I think it was like a good moment for me, having how long I've trained, like the work I've put in, helping people like myself as well, like coaching. I've done a lot of coaching, teaching, competing. And then to get the black belt, it feels good. Like I've always said same thing, like, oh, belts don't matter. But, when you get your black belt, I think it's not necessarily like, for me, it's like, it wasn't about like the skills. It was also like, it's like a stamp of trust, from your coach. Like you said, Absolutely. Like you're going to go represent them. Now you're a black, who are you a black belt under? You're a black belt under Coach Firas.
And Firas has how many black belts? Like you could probably count them on both your hands. 15. Fuck.
So yeah, it's what I mean. Like it's a good vote of confidence, and I think it's more than just your skill on the mat, but also just like this person approves that you're going to go carry their name and represent them when you go teach and have your own students. So it felt special to me for sure.
How'd you get into it? How did your jiu-jitsu journey start?
He was the most annoying kid in the world, and his parents were like, "Get the fuck into something."
So actually, it's not that far from the truth, but
I can tell, brother.
Yeah, no, I got into it like when I was like 13 years old. Basically, I started watching UFC.
How old are you right now?
27.
We're the same age.
Yeah. So I started
14 years.
Yeah, so started when I was 13. I started watching UFC. And then right away I was like, okay, I want to go beat up my friends on the schoolyard and just trying out shit I saw on YouTube on them. And then my uncle at the time was doing Muay Thai. He brought me to an open house of a MMA gym. And so I met the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach there, Claude Patrick, who's been my coach like white to brown and still a big mentor to me to this day.
And that's in Ontario.
In Ontario and Mississauga.
Sorry to stop you there, but Claude Patrick, that's a French name. So he's a French-Canadian living in Ontario?
No, so he's English. He's born in Mississauga.
Okay.
But he did live here for a bit. Like he lived here for 3 years, I think, and trained with
in the UFC.
He fought in the UFC. He trained actually here with
Claude Patrick fought in the UFC. Yeah,
he good friend of Firas. Trained at TriStar.
What's the name of the gym?
Elite Training Center.
Okay.
In Mississauga. So like I was always kind of aware of TriStar, like given that my coach had trained there, he trained with George, he had trained at BTT, he had trained at all these places. So I've known of the jiu-jitsu scene in Montreal for a while.
Is that why he had moved here for the 3 years?
Yeah, he had come. He'd fought here. Like my coaches fought like Firas, like under Firas, he had trained here, and Claude.
Okay, so you had a direct link to get to TriStar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, so I trained, and then took up jiu-jitsu, trained and competed a lot when I was in high school, and then took a little bit of a break in university.
Were you doing mostly gi at the time?
I was doing a mix of gi and no gi.
Okay.
Like I was doing like
I've seen old footage of you in no gi and in gi.
yeah. So I was doing like a bit of both. Competed a lot, and then
I think that comes from the fact that your coach trained MMA.
yes,
Exactly.
You
yes,
see the
yes.
Because I'm
difference?
surprised. I'm actually surprised because most guys that have been training 15 years, they all started in the gi and did mostly like.
I actually
Like
started.
Jeremy
I started
Paré,
no gi.
remember?
Jeremy started.
Jerry
no gi.
Paré did like 20 years of gi, then did no gi for a year and a half.
Yeah, because you know
I don't know,
GB.
I'm
Like
just-
when you start GB, like it makes sense. Like Jeremy started in the gi, but like I came from an MMA gym, so I actually started no gi. I started no gi, and I wanted to do MMA, so I was like also doing some MMA sparring, some stand up, and I actually transitioned into the gi more when I got my blue belt, and then I was doing gi for a bit, and then took a break in university a little bit. Like I was training less. Then, like out of university, that's when I started going really hard again, and obviously coming here and doing trips and traveling and training and competing, and here we are.
I remember you told me you got into like bodybuilding.
Yeah. In
Which
university,
explains, yeah.
I was into powerlifting, like along
Powerlifting,
with
sorry.
jiu-jitsu. I was doing some powerlifting too, and
And you have pretty impressive numbers, the numbers you had told me that you had hit. And when you roll,
Yeah.
like, bro,
Bro,
you're like,
you're
what,
strong.
135 pounds?
At
No,
least
for real,
140.
for real. You're like 170,
yeah,
175?
170.
180. I've seen you at 180.
I've been up to 180. Yeah. I fluctuate. Like I was
The
telling you-
Lebanese in you comes out. Once the
Yeah,
bread hits,
when the food hits, it
insulin.
depends on the season. I fluctuate. In
If
any
it's the
given
season
year,
of hummus,
between 160 and 190, and I'm like in that range. depending
bro,
on the year.
who else
Like,
does that?
You,
Like, bro, I swear,
Yeah,
me,
it's Lebanese
I
thing,
can go
bro, I
from
swear to God,
212 to
bro.
192.
bro, you're not gonna drop under 200 ever. Look at your fucking.
You're
He
crazy.
was
I
in
swear, I
for
swear to
Quintet,
God,
he
I
was
did
under
193 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
I know.
What are you talking
Quintet,
about,
he
bro?
was
Bro,
at 193.
stay.
I
you
could do it,
drown
bro. I
yourself.
could be 193 tomorrow.
I mean,
Wait, I'm saying you're not gonna walk around under 200 anymore. You're
I
too
could.
big now.
No, I could. I should. I don't eat well, bro. Bro, I had 3,000 calories of McDonald's.
eat well.
This guy shows up tanned, lean, jacked. He's
ripped.
like, I don't eat well.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What's that picture you posted yesterday? Just shredded to the nines.
Yeah, bro, that's like
I
after,
don't- nah,
like after,
I'm out
bro,
of shape.
that's like after pump, sauna,
He's
ice
trying to make
bath.
us
He's even
feel bad.
gonna
That's
tell
what-
us I've got
What's the
bad
deal?
genes.
What's
But
I don't
I will tell him
understand
this:
after all
he was
that,
a
yeah?
fat kid.
I was
Have you guys seen
huge, bro.
pictures? He was a fat kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
That can help though.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes the body dysmorphia.
That's
For sure.
That's what
I
makes
was
you
fat kid
think
too.
you're
That's
not
what I'm
lean.
saying. That's why
Yeah,
I
But
say this.
I understand.
being
I was
fat
chubby fat kid too.
And then
I
being
know what
strong,
it is.
Like, bro, I didn't train for a week. I look myself in the mirror. I'm like, you're disgusting. You look like a slob, bro. You're disgusting.
What did you just tell him earlier? You can't tell him he's a shit at. You can't tell yourself you're shit at a thing. You
Yeah.
gotta not tell
No,
yourself.
I know. Like, bro, objectively speaking, I that's just a mental
do
thing. I work through.
do
Like,
that.
yo,
You're-
don't
you're-
be
you're a
like
beautiful,
you're not
sexy man.
good. You're
Don't
not you're not in shape. You're not in shape. It's like, yeah, okay. That's why I used to fast so much, bro. When I first started working with James, bro, I would show up to weightlifting, bro. He'd be like, yo, it's 12. He's like, yo, we're gonna do sled pushes. We have fucking back squat, deadlift. I have 5x5. We're gonna do shoulder presses with the military inside, 10x12. What'd you eat? I'm like, bro, I fast till 2. He's like, what are you retarded, bro?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you fast till 2? He's like, but you're gonna burn 1,000, like 800 calories. But where? I'm like, yo, I ate yesterday at
You
10.
used to tell me this at TriStar.
Yeah, you remember?
When I first...
No, I train fasted, bro. I have to
Yeah,
train
yeah.
fasted.
You should have been like, I can't eat anything. I have to train fasted or else I feel sick. All I have is this LMNT pack, and he's fucking waving it around.
LMNT pack.
And then and so I was like, oh yeah. I mean, like I eat a little bit of something. You're like, no, I can't eat anything.
Yeah, I have.
and then we got James on the podcast, or he started training with James, and James was like, "You need fuel to put in your fucking engine."
Yeah.
Especially if you're not trying to lose a significant amount of weight.
I was trying to lose weight my whole life.
Yes, so exactly. That's why you kept fasting. Like
My whole life,
I
I'm like-
understand this.
Let me get more. I need to lose more
just-
weight.
But I was the same.
When,
When I used
when
to
the
fast,
training goals are a little different, and you're not having to lose or wanting to lose all that weight, you have to eat a little bit before you train.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And-
if you're not going to lift and you want to fast because you want to lose, I mean, it's just how you look.
But
at
also,
it.
he was telling me, like, bro,
Day.
he was like, I'm not saying don't fast.
Exactly.
I'm
But,
like,
but
yo, you want to
exactly, you
fast?
still want to do it properly. There's proper ways to.
No, he's like, you want to fast? I'm not going to get you yoked and more performance at jiu-jitsu because I need to make you do the airdyne bike for, I don't know, 20 minutes on different intervals. well, bro, you're not gonna perform. Like if
Absolutely
you
not.
ate before, maybe even if you feel like shit, you're gonna push that heart rate more because you have juice.
You have the
So
energy,
worst case, feel like shit, and we'll deal with what
Yeah.
you can eat and,
And
what
then,
you.
and then after a month and a half of getting into a new
Yeah,
routine of
exactly.
eating, you don't even think twice. Now your body's back to eating in the morning, and then you're eating and you feel good. Now, if you didn't eat in the morning, you'd be like, oh, I feel fucking weird. I can't
Exactly,
do this.
exactly.
It's just a
I
habit
used to
to
train
build.
fasted too, and I'm not an athlete. I train. I try to train as much as I can, but I used to train fasted.
Yeah.
And
I've tried it too.
and then after speaking with
think
James,
everyone
speaking
did
with
a few years
Jad,
ago.
he was like, "Hey, try eating a little something."
Yeah.
I ate 2 toasts in the
Yeah,
morning, 2
exactly.
hours before training.
Yeah.
I went to training. I'm like, "Fuck! I just did 12 rounds."
Exactly.
He's a
Exactly.
superhero. He eats 2 toasts with butter. Huh?
Don't give him 3 though.
He'll shit bricks.
Performance down.
Yeah.
I have a question to ask you regarding like when you came to TriStar, because bro, me too. I like hopped around different gyms, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like when I got to TriStar, I don't know why, I just like I had that feeling when I first started jiu-jitsu. When I first joined Gracie Baja West Island, shout out to Glenn. Now he has other schools, but when I first started there, I had that feeling like I walked in, I had friends already that were there, so I walked in with friends and I was like, all right. So I got a friendly accueillance, you know, like a friendly welcoming.
Yeah.
And then when I showed up to TriStar with Malik and Yanis, they were friends with already like 3-4 people,
Right.
and Peo was already like close to them, and they were close to Firas, and Firas knew I was Lebanese. He's like, "Shoo, what's up?" Spoke to me. I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And like,
He likes
I
to
just
do
felt like, yeah, this is exactly where I should stay.
Yeah,
like
you
I
belong.
shouldn't, even if. And bro, I went to Henzo. I went to the Blue Basement twice.
Yeah.
I went to Austin twice. I've traveled a lot for training, bro. I went to Unity. I went to Marcelo's. I went to a lot of different schools, bro, to like try. But when I was like 21, 22, I told my parents, I'm like, if I find a school, I'm going to move there. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, I'll just take a loan and I'll move to fucking New York. I'll pay rent for a year. I'll be indebted $20,000. I want to pursue jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They're like, you're fucking a moron, whatever. But that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then I got to TriStar and I'm like, okay, like I can get very high level teaching, extremely high level teaching, like spectrum level of teaching. Like for the way Firas approaches jiu-jitsu, it's like he after the who's number one card, he's like, yo, the double underhook from Mount is fucking amazing. You're like, okay, he watched.
Yeah.
It's not a coach who's repeating a cycle of
But you know,
of like techniques. He doesn't have a comment t'appelles ça, bro? How do you call it?
Rolodex.
No, it's a curriculum. He doesn't have a curriculum per se.
Day 1, day 2,
No.
day 3. No.
It's like, yo, what's popping?
Yeah.
This is popping. Let's work on this.
And
then
thought
but
about
he does.
this.
But he does have a.
What do you guys
curriculum,
think
though.
of this?
Yeah, he does have a curriculum, but it's for the basics class.
Yeah.
And he's built a curriculum for SAD to teach. It's on an app. SAD follows that,
Nice.
and he teaches the beginners, and he doesn't have to worry about it, right? Because that curriculum is set, and that's what a beginner needs. A beginner needs curriculum.
Need structure.
He needs this because
Very good point.
because the base of jiu-jitsu is so important. And this is why you've gotten so much better in the past year and a half since the school opened. You started teaching basics again, and now your basics are just phenomenal. So now that just builds the rest of your jiu-jitsu. It's super huge.
I tell him all every
Yeah.
time. He doesn't want to hear
no,
it.
it's the first.
and then-
It's the first person that spoke about the difference between me teaching and me teaching basics. You're the first person to ever bring this up, and it makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
And then Firas, and also this is because, and I was telling Chris on the way here actually. So like 5-6 years ago, we had decent jiu-jitsu, but really focused for MMA. A lot of cage work, a lot of like, I don't know, it was really MMA orientated. The jiu-jitsu was there. Firas loved jiu-jitsu like forever. But then COVID happened, and then all the Haram boys, shout out,
Gang.
they all started showing up to TriStar, all these hoodlums. And then
From different
from
parts.
different gyms, okay? So COVID happened, and then it's like we were doing a bit of training.
Yeah. But super legally.
And 100%. And
With the tape on the floor, masks.
yeah, separation,
It was
all that,
pro training
gloves.
Pro training only. Every
Yeah.
single guy that was there was paid to be there.
Yeah. And and it's like the word started getting out because people who were still passionate about jiu-jitsu wanted to train.
I was willing to go to jail.
So exactly, we all were. So we almost did. So this guy, so these guys just started showing up, and they kind of brought a resurgence back to jiu-jitsu at TriStar, and then they started really, like, inspiring Firas. They started teaching him all these different things, telling him about all these new guys, all these new up-and-coming guys. The different, like, there was times when he didn't know about, like, who's number one and all these different organizations just because he's so focused on MMA and all these watching tape on fights. And then they kind of brought this back to him. And then now he's watching jiu-jitsu again. It's been a few years. It's been like 2 or 3 years that he's like, you know, and look how the school is
look
growing.
at the jiu-jitsu program.
It's crazy.
TriStar.
Yeah, there was like an article in Jiu-Jitsu magazine like a year and a half ago, and we were ranked number 5 in the top 10 jiu-jitsu schools. We're an MMA school. We have MMA fighters.
Yeah.
But like,
and one thing I noticed about Firas, if you're a beginner and you're watching Who's Number One cards and you're buying John Danaher's DVDs and you're spending 6 hours trying to understand the philosophy behind jiu-jitsu, bro, go get a fucking Firas DVD.
Yeah.
Go get a guard retention Firas DVD.
Well,
it's 50 minutes, and it's straight to the point, and you're going to improve your jiu-jitsu tremendously.
Yeah, Juji Club, baby.
Yeah,
Shout
Juji
out-
Club.
shout out to
Fucking-
Juji
remember,
Club.
bro, Ayman won his fight and UFC. He gets the mic. He's like, I just want to tell you guys, Juji Club for your fundamentals of jiu-jitsu. Never forget. Bro,
Knock the guy out. He knocks a guy out.
Yeah.
And says jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
Nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. He hasn't used jiu-jitsu in a
elbows the
fucking
guy to the
decade.
oblivion. He's like, guys, fundamentals of
Juji Club. Get it.
strong and stable knees. You need it.
Get on that ball.
Yeah.
If you're not on med ball for
Yo,
4
we
days a
laugh
week,
about it, bro, but he gets up. I've never seen a guy. Of course he gets hurt. I'm not saying he doesn't get hurt. But he's 41, bro.
No, he's 43, dude.
43.
He turns
We
44
We were
this
talking
year.
about this on the way here.
43.
It's insane.
He never gets hurt.
Yo, if you don't go hard with him, he
Trains
doesn't want to
hard,
roll
too.
with you.
It's crazy.
This
He only
is,
picks guys. If you try to like respect him and go light, he's like, thanks, round. He'll never roll with you again.
Yeah, exactly. You got to bring it to him.
He's like, Cedric,
Pause.
come here, grab my leg, single leg situation. Give Ced his leg. He's just fucking
Yeah.
going hard. Next round, Jad, let's go. Next round, Alpha, let's go, because he knows Alpha's gonna go through.
Dog,
him.
bro.
Just
Yo, you know,
he
I've
wants
seen,
that.
bro, I've seen.
wild.
Alpha is the guy that I've seen bring out the most dog out of Firas.
Because he has,
Once I saw them, bro.
He rolls with them and he's just trying to hit
Bro,
everything on
once
him.
they were
It's amazing.
they were collar tying each other, and it was slaps, bro.
Yeah.
And none of them said anything.
No, that's
And,
it,
bro.
Because
it
if
was
you match
crazy.
it, if you match his energy, he loves it.
Yeah, and I think
he loves
it
it.
kind of deflects towards me as well here. Like he says that all the time. Like I preach, like, yo, don't be spaz, don't go hard, be nice. But there's nothing I love more.
Bring the dog out.
Like there's not
Because we like to
like-
fight.
All the new guys that
Because
are
it's
jacked,
fighting. We like to fight.
I look at them and I'm like, I don't want to get hurt. I'm like pussying
like,
out a
let's
bit.
go.
And he's going,
Let's go.
fucking bring him to me.
Yeah.
because I feel like, bro, if I'm able to, we were talking about this before. You say it because you had a good perspective about it. Like when you guys come in, what you do.
Yeah, I was saying, like, when a new guy comes in.
You can
like,
talk, we'll go.
No, I'm saying, like, when a new guy comes in, you want to show them, like, is this effective, right?
Exactly.
Like, they're looking at jiu-jitsu, they're like, okay, like, bunch of guys rolling around on the mat, like, it looks kind of, like, weird, like, great. And it's like, okay, you want to show them that jiu-jitsu is effective, but you can't just go out and just fuck them up, you know? You're not going to go out and, like, I mean, you can, but it's like, I also...
I've been doing this all wrong for the past year.
No, but I think you
So
should.
you're saying you don't fuck him up with
No, I think I do fuck them
them up
up,
a little
but
bit,
I
but
think I fuck them up in a way that they realize the power of jiu-jitsu, like, via good technique. Like, I don't want to go out there and just fucking, like, body lock them and smash them, but I want to, like, hit a knee cut to a back take to a rear naked choke, or, like, hit, like, something, or go turtle, escape turtle, and then get tap them that way. So they see, like, oh, shit, like, I don't even know what's going on, and this guy's fucking me up. So that way they're intrigued to learn more. Like, if you go out and just muscle them around, and, like, I've seen some guys, like, the mat enforcer type guys, like, big tap-out tattoo guys, that just, like, roughhouse guys, it might turn them off the sport, but, like, if you fuck them up in a way they're like, oh, shit, this guy knows something I don't, I want to go learn more about this, I think that brings them back in, and it makes them, like, keep asking questions. They want to keep showing up and learning. But, yeah, you do fuck them up. You don't want to, like, let a new guy come in and then be like, oh, this jiu-jitsu shit doesn't work, bro. I fucked up the coach. Like, then he's not going to stay. Like, you do fuck him up, but in the right way.
I have the thing is, like, you know how we're like different body types, or
Yeah.
like when you guys roll with you, I saw it today. It's not the same way that they roll with me.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought about this a lot in the last like year and somewhat of having the school, because a lot of people used to tell me, like, well, if it's all, like, I used to tell people, like, I try to go light and we always pick up the pace, and they're like, oh, but if it's always you, then it's you the problem. And then I realized, bro, when guys approach, like, when you guys that haven't rolled with me approach me to roll, they're 10 times more stressed and stiff than when they approach Chris.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
That's
Because
fair.
like you're bigger.
yeah, probably. And then
No,
they don't realize Chris has almost the same, if not a little bit less isometric strength than me. So when he grabs them, they're like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked, bro. And they're like, how is this guy doing this to me? Whereas they expect me to do that to them. So they're like,
just
they
from
know.
the outside perspective, this guy's big. He must be amazing.
Well, you're a big
strong.
guy, right?
So what I
walks
do
in, they
now-
want to challenge you, like.
So what I do when there's new people, I'm like, yo, here, come. This is a rear naked choke. Take my back.
Yeah.
And then I escape and I go single leg X and I ankle lock them
yeah.
Or you
every
could
time.
just play guard.
If I play guard, they kick me, bro. They drop because they're like,
What do you mean
no,
they-
they don't
I
kick me,
know
but you know,
what
like
you mean, bro.
they're like
I-
swinging the legs to like,
Yeah.
and they drop with an elbow right on. And it's like
A lot of big
and
guys say
me,
that. A lot of bigger guys always actually say that like even if they don't want to go hard, they end up going hard because the smaller person is like going crazy hard on them because they feel intimidated, that they feel like, oh, it's a big guy, like I have to go hard. And maybe the big guy just wanted to fucking play half guard or something or work like his bottom
Story of
game.
my
And now
life.
the guy's going crazy and he's like, okay, now I have to turn up the pace.
because we've rolled, we've went hard, and we've went light.
Yes.
So I have the capability.
I know you
and
do.
you do, and you would easily tell me to not roll with you anymore.
Yes.
Like you've done this to a lot.
Yeah. I tell people all the time. I'm very picky with the people I roll
So
with.
that's my point.
And sometimes I have said no to you if I'm feeling tired that day and drained, and I've been watching you roll, and I know that you're having you're on a good day. I don't want to maybe get injured, not because you are going to injure me, but because I'm not giving a quick enough reaction, or I'm letting you get too far into a position, and then which is not you being wrong, it's just me being lazy and tired. So I would say no. I've learned to listen
Of course,
to my
bro.
body
After
and
fucking
learn.
20 years, bro.
But and then sometimes I'm like, okay, I feel strong today. I feel good. Like,
Let's go.
Yeah,
and I'm ready to go. And sometimes you're having more of a chill day, and you're like, let's go chill. I'm like, let's go chill. And we have a beautifully chilly round,
Crazy.
right? It's
I've never had that with you.
You can't go light with Chris.
I can go light.
No, you can't.
Chris and I go super smooth every single time. But the problem
But
is
listen,
going with
no,
Chris.
but
I go
Listen,
light.
this is the problem with going with Chris.
No, I think
There's
this,
no problem whatsoever. He's just so fucking good that when you go slow with him, it's like putting your hand in like a slow bear trap.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck. I'm
like a-
stuck
you know,
in
the
a
mud?
slow bear trap.
But listen,
yeah.
I say this with
fucking
Chris.
phenomenal.
However, I
phenomenal
will say,
jiu-jitsu.
Rob and I, by the way, Rob's one of my favorite roles ever.
Agreed.
Fucking
Same.
fun time.
Yeah.
You and I can go so light,
Yeah.
right? Me and Jad cannot go light. Me
'Cause
and
you
Chris
talk so much
cannot
shit.
go.
There's so much fucking
You
trauma
talk
in
so
this relationship.
much shit.
I talk shit.
You talk so much shit all week, bro.
But
all
all
week
you-
he's
but all
like,
you
bro,
guys-
remember I swept you? And then I look at
Oh
the
my
tape, bro.
god! What do you?
I show him the tape. I'm like, this is not points. He's like, yeah, okay, this is not points, but it was a near
you
sweep.
see- so
It was
you see-
almost.
But
It was almost.
the fact that you go back and look at tape.
What do you think
to
I did, bro?
But exactly though. But the fact that you go back to look at tape to counter argue his.
I am the stupid one.
It's just
Here's what
it's
I.
just
Here's what,
escalation.
I don't know about.
And then we
Chris.
get to the match, like,
Which
yo,
is
let's warm
amazing.
up.
No.
And then
okay.
he shoulder crunches
Here's-
me. I'm like, well, this is not warming up, brother.
Here's what I think. Okay, I
You
can't
have
say
to
that-
submit sometimes.
I
Jack.
can't say this
I
about
tap.
Chris.
Yeah,
I tap, bro. I tap. Yeah.
This is what I think between Jad and I is I think sometimes there's some build up pressure
From the academy.
from us being business partners, us getting into not arguments, but sometimes we disagree.
Arguments.
And then
that's how a business partner. That's how
and then we go and we roll, and I think obviously Jad is a lot better than me. And then sometimes the valve just kicks out. But I will give him this. It's true. Sometimes I'll say, hey, let's go light. Bro, I haven't tapped him in a year. Like sometimes I'll say, let's go light, and I fucking...
This guy's like, never.
No, he stopped me. He stopped me.
What, bro? You're going to fucking...
No, he stopped me. I said he stopped me. I just said he stopped me. Mathieu has stopped me. Here.
3 times.
he knows every time.
Maybe 4.
It's in his journal.
He's counted.
He has it in his journal.
1,
Dear
2.
journal.
Well, actually,
last
you're
night,
like that,
I
too.
tapped Chad with the
You
rear
remember,
naked choke.
he
This
knows
guy-
any
it felt
person that's ever
amazing.
tapped him, and he's like, fucking May 2022, this guy caught me in an ankle lock. Like, he's just...
Bro, ask him to
Holds a
remember
grudge.
anything. Oh, do you remember you have this bill coming? Never he's going to remember.
Yeah.
But ask him 2 weeks ago, we were in Cross Ashy, and I fucking slipped your hip on... Bro, he's going to tell you, no, this is what happened. Fucking knows exactly what
For
happened.
me to remember that, I have to not pay my bills. For me to retain that information, I have to be late on my bills. That's how it works, bro. Or else I wouldn't retain that information.
I'm the opposite, bro. I forget. They're like, oh, remember when we rolled last week? I'm like, nope.
And that's why you're more technical than I am.
So I got a question for both of you. Maybe we could start with Chris, but I have a question on your approach to jiu-jitsu. Obviously, super high-level guy. You compete a lot. Just got your black belt from Firas. What's your approach to learning jiu-jitsu and getting better? Do you have a goal every week, every 3 months? Do you write down shit, or you just show up to training? Like, what's your?
So I would say it's changed for sure. Like, I've gotten more, like I've built up more of a system especially when I came here and when I started taking like jiu-jitsu more seriously. But for me, like a big thing's concepts. Like I'm big into concepts, which is why like the eco thing and all the stuff we've talked about, like it interests me so much because like I've only started watching Instructionals maybe like 2 years ago, but I used to just be like, okay, like don't show me the move. Like what's the concept? Like what's the idea? So yeah, I show up to training. I have like goals. I'll have like positions that I want to work. So like I want to work this position, and I want to get better at doing this. So I write that down in a journal. On my laptop I have in my OneNote, and then I have like certain sequences I want to hit. But my approach to learning new things is like I like to think of it like as a whole system. Like I don't want to just learn one thing. Like I'm not just going to show up to training and be like, tripod passing, I want to just work tripod passing. It's like it has to fit into what I've been working on in the prior weeks. So I've been telling Jad, like I've been working a ton of turtle escapes for like the past 6 months. So something that's logically come next is, okay, I'm doing now heisting into leg locks, I'm doing back escapes, I'm doing now my mount escapes, and then I'm also attacking those positions too, getting better at finishing there because like I'm just doing a lot of positionals with people there. So I'd say like, yeah, like to me, it has to be conceptual and then kind of fit into the framework. I don't like just doing like individual things that I'm just going to pick this and study it for fucking 2 weeks. To me, like, I'm not like, I don't learn best like that. And I just love doing like live work, like positional. If I want to learn something, like let's do a round doing just that. Like I'm big into that.
And is it like, okay, you got a goal for this week, this is what you want to work on. Do you approach every roll with that set or? No, I think I do like, well, I'm training twice a day most days, but like I'll try to do like, let's say if I'm doing turtle defense, I'll do a couple rounds of that in the noon class, and then I'll just do some opens, then I'll see where I can get there organically, like maybe I'll give the guy my back or if I end up there. But I usually just have like different goals for the week, so I don't just stick on one thing. It'll be like this plus this, so I can work different stuff. But then I do opens. Like I think opens are important, but I think if you just only do opens, I don't think you're going to be getting as better as if you're doing like targeted, specific, goal, task-oriented work, whatever you want to call it. Right? So, makes sense. Yeah. Do you have a similar approach, Rob?
No. So it's like the complete opposite.
Rob smokes weed, by the way.
This is wild. Okay,
so do I.
So for jiu-jitsu, I feel like when you start jiu-jitsu, for me anyways, I came from BTT, and it was, they have day one, day two, they have this type of training, and they don't have it just for basics, they have it, but they have, so if you're a white belt, they have day one and day two for white belt, and it's like all the different sequences, whatever, how he has it based for the basics. But then when you're a blue belt, then you have access to those, they're called like escalinhos, I think in Portuguese, escalinho, I think is what they call it. And there's like a day one and day two, and it's more advanced moves. And then when you get to purple belt and brown, he has like more of those, and they're more advanced. And I came from that background for so long, and then when I left and I came to TriStar, it was such a different curriculum that it's almost like, and then so it was very different than how I was learning. So it was kind of tough for my brain to kind of make this kind of switch. And then as jiu-jitsu started just completely changing. Like, when I first started jiu-jitsu, if you would touch someone's legs and, like, do a leg lock, the guy would bitch at you after.
Frowned upon.
And it was, it was so taboo to the point where, like, people would start talking shit about you at the gym. Like, yeah, this guy just grabs your legs like he's a fucking loser.
Call you dirty.
Things
they
like
call
this.
you dirty just for doing ankle locks. Bro.
It was so, it's funny. So then, like,
Story of my life.
All these different... Then jiu-jitsu started just completely changing. And then all these different approaches, like all the instructionals started coming out. And for me, I can't learn this way. I can't learn by like watching instructionals. I have a hard enough time paying attention in class, like when Firas is there, and that's why I started microdosing mushrooms. Like the past 2 years, completely changed my jiu-jitsu game. Like, wildly changed it.
It has to, bro.
Like,
And
people ask me, you know, how did you get so good in the past few years? I'm like, mushrooms. Because now I can focus.
Yeah.
When I'm in class, nothing else matters. Like I'm zoned in, I'm locked in, and I'm focused on the technique. I can see the little details, and then when I go to rep them out, I'm still able to remember them, and then my retention is also much stronger. And then obviously the creativity is through the roof. That's like the last part. Everyone assumes that's kind of the main reason why you would, but for me it helped me focus so much. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, microdosing psilocybin. There's a lot of studies.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're seeing how like the benefits are just coming on.
But I feel like you're the type to learn manually.
Yes.
Anytime I've seen you do something that you weren't doing before, it was when you were repping it with Peo or Firas like a month before.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this guy learns because sometimes everybody falls into the trap of always doing the same thing. So do I. I just do the same fucking thing every roll.
I really feel like this is my jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yeah, and I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
And then when I would realize...
there's so much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So much to do.
I always, bro, every round I'm like, okay, no more taking the back and rear naked choke. And then I watch tape. 8 rounds.
Where'd you end
me
up on the
taking
back? Yeah.
and rear naked
I've been
choke.
in like an armbar phase the last little while.
Turtling the guy and then taking the back.
Nobody turtles on me anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Not even in the nobody ever. I can't even. I have to do turtle rounds to practice turtle.
Yeah, I don't
Nobody
like
wants to
turtling
turtle.
on you.
Nobody. They give me side control.
So your way of learning jiu-jitsu is kind of like showing up, making sure you're focused, and just training
and just rolling.
drilling.
Yeah, and then I hang out with all these guys who are just like jiu-jitsu savants. They're watching, and like Mark, Irish Mark, Etienne, all these guys.
Everybody,
and it's
Sefiu,
amazing.
Alpha, Filou, everybody.
All these guys, Filou, Alpha, all the guys, George, all of them. They're
George
all,
a lot.
all the Haram boys. They're how they watch and study jiu-jitsu. I cannot do this.
Bro.
I cannot do this. I feel like I watch these videos and like in one ear, out the other. I'm like, that was a waste of my time.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to learn
it's
by
nothing
doing.
for me.
Like,
yes.
and
So for me, it's showing up and just rolling and repping.
Yeah.
And it's cool that jiu-jitsu has these different personalities.
Yes.
Look how differently
Absolutely.
we learn.
Yeah.
Like, I learn a mix of both.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit of what you do. Like, I write down, but I can't write on my computer. I have to write it on a piece of paper. And I write down, like, okay, this week, let's try to focus on 50-50 inside rolls. And then I'll do 50-50
I think it's
rounds.
amazing, though. I think this approach, I think, is fantastic.
But then
But that's why we're seeing a lot of guys progress so quickly in the sport now.
Very quickly.
Before...
Take you
It
years.
would take just absolutely forever to do anything. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing the instructionals that are free on YouTube, by the way. All the content on Instagram is insane, right? So you have so much free content available for the people who are just kind of hobbyists and who love it, free content. And then the people that want to take their journey to the next levels, they're going to pay for it because they understand the value of what they're getting.
Yeah.
But there's just so much amazing content out there.
Because it's valuable for them.
Exactly. So, and then that's how they learn. So it's just like, why wouldn't you? And then now they're just progressing 2 or 3 times as quickly as everyone else, as far as we used to.
Like technically, if you take an instructional, right, and you're being like, you buy this instructional, you spend $200-$300, and you want to be focused on this. Like, you can't just sit down, run through it, and then go training. You have to dissect it. You have to pick. Okay, I'm going to watch the first 15 minutes maybe twice. I'm going to take some notes. I'm going to go train the next 2-3 days. I'm going to try this.
Exactly.
So watching an instructional might take you.
That's like an impossible way to approach it. So
Really?
the way I
think
do
so?
it.
Okay.
The way I do it.
But maybe that's the way he would approach it.
But I feel
right?
like-
Why would it be impossible?
I feel like statistically speaking,
Yeah. Okay.
if I were to sit down, because the instructional is 14 hours, bro.
Okay, well,
That means-
a 14-hour one.
Ask them, bro. They're like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? They're like 10 hours. So if I dissect every 15 minutes,
Not 15 is not possible, but it's a larger scale. He said a 2-hour video, you break it down.
yeah.
But a 14-hour video, 10-hour video,
So how
obviously
would you
break
guys
it down
do it?
into
So
2
I would
hours.
do- I would
Because
do-
the technique, because also, just to cut you out, at a certain level, you start understanding techniques that are compressed.
That's what I'm saying.
So you don't have to break down those smaller techniques because you're understanding what's happening.
Yep.
Exactly.
So like your 15 minutes could be his 1 hour.
so what
Right,
I
so
do,
just
And
Depends
then,
on the
like
level.
Chris said, maybe it's just concepts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing. Like, if I get an instructional, I put it on ×2 speed,
That's
and I'll
exactly-
just watch
Yeah.
the first 3 hours, and I'm not even fully paying attention. Like, it's not like I'm sitting there taking notes. Okay, he grabs the wrist. I'll just put it on, and I'm just kind of doing some other stuff. I watch it. I'll watch like 4 hours of instructional in
2 hours.
In 2 hours. And then the next, I try to think what was the commonality between all these things. And then the next day when I'm training, I'll go and try to do those things in training. Not the specifics like,
raise your hip to the right.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
like,
think of steps ever. I just think of what was the outcome that this guy was trying to do, and I'm going to go to training and try to do it. Like right now, like I'm watching a few instructionals. I couldn't tell you every fucking technique that's in the instructional, but I got like maybe the Cole's Notes version of 1, 2, 3. Here are the 3 bullet points that this person's trying to get across, and I'm going to go try to do that based on what I already know.
So one thing about instructionals, and this is my opinion, it's at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So I'm trying to make money.
Yep.
So what I like to do is I'll do the 2x speed, and then I look for match footage. And if I see match footage of you hitting that technique, I will study it. And until I see match footage of you hitting the other techniques that I haven't seen, I won't work on it. Because I have a limited amount of, like you said, it goes one ear out the other. I have a limited amount of concentration available. So I do the 2X. I'll give you an example. Like I was watching Kieran's instructional. And I did 2X for the first 5 parts. And it's like 45 minutes. So it was 22 minutes, 22 minutes. So it was an hour.
Yep.
And then I took quick note. And then I went on the Outlier database. And I just wrote.
You have that.
And I just wrote Kieran, triangle, half guard. And I just tried to find all the sequences that he hit. Mm-hmm. And out of the hour, he had hit about 32 minutes. Like 32 minutes of techniques were hit in the competition.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I was like, oh, let me focus on this. Yeah. And then when I did, because the week before I was trying to do everything in the DVD, nothing was working. And when I focused on the 2 things that he showed in the 30 minutes, I was like, bro, this is exactly how it goes in the fight.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of what he...
You know what I mean? So I feel like...
Match footage is key, too.
That
database thing is sick. But
crazy.
Do you use it as well?
That's amazing.
I don't use it, but I do the same thing. Like, I look at match footage. Like,
you can find it, bro. It's just... it's easier. You can just go on Flow, right? Kieran Kachuk, Nogi.
No, I think the database is sick because it categorizes it for you. It saves you a lot of time, right? Yeah. But I think watching match footage, to me, has been really... I don't know if you guys find the same thing, but, like, before, like, I was, like... If you're super serious about your training, watching matches is easy because you're like, okay, I want to learn this. But for people that are casual, you cannot get them to watch jiu-jitsu. Like, it's so...
Oh, yesterday, who's number 1? There was 2 guys that didn't do jiu-jitsu with us. They fell asleep.
Yeah,
of course.
Like, if you're
That's why I'll never be in the Olympics.
If you don't train every day...
The worst spectator sport
ever. The most boring sport.
Boring.
2 guys are just rolling around, then the match stops. They don't even see the tap. They're like, what happened?
That's why ADCC trials is so cool, because you see a lot of good guys versus shitty guys. So
that's why it's exciting, because you see the submission.
Exactly. Whereas you go to who's number 1, it's the 2 best guys in that division.
Yeah.
Like, there's a stalemate, bro.
You have to understand the sport to watch, because you understand the small nuances. You understand that, oh shit, he advanced his position by 1 quarter. That guy's a fucking G against this guy, because no one passes his guard this much. And so you appreciate the small nuances.
Exactly, J-Rod and Tannen yesterday.
I think it's it's the appreciation because they have the technical depth, but also, like, I feel like the reason why jiu-jitsu is not a spectator sport is because the spectators are also practitioners. So when they see Joseph Chen hit some sequence, they're not just appreciating the technical superiority of it. They're also like, I want to take that and go train it myself. And then the next day they're on the mats.
When you're watching skiers, bro, you're just like, this is fucking
like
amazing,
if I watch football and like they hit a crazy touchdown, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to go do that tomorrow with my friends at the park. No, you're just like, yo, that was sick. But with jiu-jitsu, you see somebody do something sick and you're like, I'm going to go do that tomorrow.
I can do that.
That's the difference.
Because jiu-jitsu is accessible. Basketball, football, skiing. It's not so if I'm 6'7" from Detroit and my fucking 40 vertical, my vertical is 46 inches, there's no way a 5'10" guy from Chamonix is going to be able to do.
I'm going to do the same thing. Like, no, you're not, bro.
But if you see Gordon like spin between, like, oh, I can fucking spin, bro. I can do this, bro. Like, it's accessible to everybody, bro.
Yeah, because there's different levels, and you can do it here at the gym. You can compete local tournaments.
Yeah, you feel like an athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
And how much do you guys think that what you just said about jiu-jitsu being like a participant sport, right? How much do you think it's going to impact the growth of jiu-jitsu? Like, does it mean it's going to plateau and jiu-jitsu is never going to grow as a...
So what? It's going to grow, bro. It's going to grow, bro. I just feel like, bro, listen, it's not made for everybody.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it for everybody. Yeah. But the people that don't want to do it, don't do it.
You know what?
You get what I mean? Don't do it.
I think no gi is not for everyone. Gi is for everyone.
That's a great call.
Nogi is really tough because you can't slow down the pace. So like,
he has a point. Let's say you're 65 and you want to start jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. Always, like you never. It's very rare you see elderly people 50, 60 because doing nogi, but you will see them with a kimono on because everyone else in the room understands for the most part. This is an elderly person. We're not going to go too hard. We can hold on to each other. We can be in positions, and the round is going to be. It's going to be normal. It's normal to kind of not stalemate, but it is like it's a slower sport, yes. And it's much more chill, and no one's going to try to like force positions as much. Where nogi, you can't hold on to anything for the most part, and then especially newer people, and it's just like.
And then they roll with this guy.
It's just a fucking tornado.
But then
and they never walk again.
One thing I'm trying to understand, right, is
but
you look at ADCC and you look at nogi in the last 5-6 years. Even 8 years, the growth of the sport has been phenomenal.
Oh, I think it's going to grow forever. Personally,
I don't think it's going to slow down. Like I think this with what Craig Jones is doing with his invitational, I don't think it's going to slow down. So when we say jiu-jitsu is more of a participant sport, spectators, if for them to appreciate it, they have to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
If we say that statement's correct, then it sort of plateaus the sport where it can't grow.
So I don't know. I think there's still a lot more room for it to grow though before it reaches that point. And like what I do think is going to happen is soon there's going to be. We've talked about this. I think you guys talked about this without me on the podcast. But the whole line between professional and amateur jiu-jitsu athlete, I think that line will become more established at some point. And when that does happen, there'll be the participant section of the sport that are hobbyists, where they do gi, some of them do no gi, it's popular. But the professionals are in a league of their own, where they only compete against other professionals. They can change up the rule sets to make it more exciting and geared towards spectators. And the professional athletes can kind of like do their own thing, and maybe the spectators will watch that. Right now we're in a phase where the spectators are expected to watch amateurs, professionals, hobbyists, all in the same league. Like you go watch ADCC trials, like you said, it's exciting, but you're watching like hobbyists versus pros. You watch who's number one. You know, it's one-off shows, but like the rule set is still underworks because who's number one has a different rule set than, Enigma and finishers, and they all have different rule sets, right? I think the sport will become more spectator-friendly once that line is drawn. And then it becomes basically like you were saying about the gi, like anybody can go do jiu-jitsu, but don't expect to go get on the mats with Oliver Taza and all these good guys, right? Like right now, like you just show up to the gym and you could just be on the mats with pros and you're just hobbyists and everybody's kind of all on the same mats and it's cool. But I think at some point it'll.
That's how you differ. But how does a professional basketball player? Like, if you watch NBA, you're not going to go watch. Maybe you are if you're a fucking passionate guy from basketball. Maybe you're going to go watch a garage league. But what the fuck are the odds of you watching an NBA game and then being like, let me go watch a high-level garage league?
You're not going to go watch the garage. You're going to go play in the garage.
That's it.
Right? You're going to go play. You want to play in the NBA. You can't. So you go watch NBA, but you're going to go play with your rec leagues and
local
everything
tournaments
else, right?
will grow for that reason. Like, jiu-jitsu will grow, but then I think, like, the interesting part that you asked is, will it be a spectator sport? That's where, once the professionals branch off and they're isolated from the hobbyists, that's where I think there's some debate. But I think jiu-jitsu people more people sign up? For sure. Like, I think there's so much to jiu-jitsu. I think it's becoming so popular now.
We can see it.
Gyms are going to pop up everywhere.
Look, guys, jiu-jitsu was illegal in Quebec for the past, 8 years.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we haven't seen the same growth as Ontario, per se. And that's why Ontario's Muay Thai is 1,000 times better than Quebec's Muay Thai. Because Muay Thai is illegal in Quebec.
That's crazy.
So now, if you guys have noticed, in the past 2 years that jiu-jitsu's been legal, it's been a year and a half maybe,
the level
Quebec is insane. How many tournaments we've had. When you have tournaments, it inspires people. That gets people on the mats. That fills up your schools. That, people want to get their kids into competition. They don't care what it is, right? And it always starts with kids. Look at any youth program for any sport, NBA, all these professional sports, it all starts with kids. They start getting drafted when they're 11 years old now, right? But they all have youth programs. They all have established youth programs. And
hockey,
then
AA, AAA.
Exactly. I started playing hockey at a young age. There were scouts already looking at me when I was 11, 12.
Yeah.
So you're being cultivated into your sport. And when there's more and more and more tournaments, more parents are going to see this, and they're going to start putting their kids
Jeremy.
And
Jeremy's the perfect example of that. Started GB as a kid.
Exactly.
He was like
and Isaac.
6
Jeremy
years
and Isaac.
old.
Yeah,
Jeremy
I
and
started
Isaac.
together. Jeremy
They
and Isaac.
start 6 years old training, and then it's just a natural progression. Like,
That's
know,
right.
they start kids class, and they go to teens class, then now
And the
they're
parents
adults,
love
and now
it
they're
'cause
black
there's
belts.
structure.
And they're structured.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, like it has to be compared to another major sport. You're rivaling time. Like, everything is time. Like, what are you going to sign your kid up for? Is it going to be hockey where you can go compete and meet friends and you can take them to tournaments?
That's
Or
right.
is it, and we're going to get to, then maybe it's jiu-jitsu instead, and you have to pick one or the other. Like, your kid can't do
Exactly.
everything.
It's
Same
just what
thing.
most of the time what happens is it's just what their child likes. A parent can push their kid into anything they want. Sometimes it works if you keep pushing and pushing. Most times they rebel. But if you let them try different things, the parent doesn't give a shit what they do. As long as they're outside of making friends, like you said, having just going out and socializing, they understand the importance of that. So if they find a sport that the kids enjoy, they're going to invest in it. They're going to.
I feel like that's a great point. Like that's what when I think about the growth of the academy, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like, bro, when have we plateaued the academy? When we have 50 kids per class.
Yeah.
I'll count that as when we have 50 kids at a class, I'll be like, all right, because until then, the sport hasn't finished growing, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the same way there's 100 kids at a hockey camp, there's same ways there's 1,000 kids at a basketball camp.
That's right.
The same way there's 78 teams for every soccer fucking league there is in Quebec, and there's 15 kids. It's going to grow to that jiu-jitsu eventually because kids are going to be like, I have more variety. First of all, there's more kids.
Yeah.
There are more people. And they're going to be like, oh, there's more people doing jiu-jitsu, so they see it more often. And some kids are going to be like, fuck this soccer ball, bro. I want to choke a kid out, bro.
And it all started with it becoming legal.
Exactly.
It needed it to become legal.
Yeah.
Like,
And
until
also,
that
jiu-jitsu
point, it
is a
was just
little
kind of
different.
stagnant.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is a little different in the sense that, like, yeah, I agree to your point when you're saying, like, you can't push your kid and all that. My approach is a little different. And I've thought about this a lot. I've mentioned it on the podcast. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
Obviously, her father is a jiu-jitsu academy owner. Like, she's going to have something to do with the gym, right?
For sure.
So my take on this, I'm not going to push her. That being said, the minimum requirement for me in my house is going to be for my kids to at least earn a blue belt.
For sure.
Because for me, jiu-jitsu is not like soccer or football or basketball. It's a life skill.
I know what you mean.
Same as
Yeah.
you got to learn how to swim.
That's right.
Because if you don't, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to defend yourself. Whether you like it or not, there's a minimum in my household. There's going to be a minimum that you have to learn as part as a life skill. Same as you got to learn math, you know?
And Firas, his two boys, because I used to teach the kids class with Firas when I first started training there, and he had the two boys there, and during the summer he would always stop the kids class, and I'll always remember this. And I asked him one time, I'm like, Coach, why aren't you, like, they're out of school, they should be training more, like, why aren't you having the kids class? And he goes, no, I don't want them training in the summer. I want them outside doing other things. I don't, like, they have to train, but I also want to give them time to do other things.
To get beat up and then use jiu-jitsu.
Go play soccer, go play basketball, go play with your friends in the summer, like,
Go be kids,
and, go be kids, and then you'll come back to training. The weather gets a little shittier outside, it gets colder, you come back in the gym, we train. And I thought that was, a good way to approach it, because
it's a good approach.
they have to train. There's no ifs,
So
ands,
the
or buts.
Firas' kids are still training.
Oh, now they're 15 and 14, and they're obsessed. They
And they're
still
also
love it.
killers.
They're absolutely
For
phenomenal.
15
as soon as they
I
turn
see them at
16,
night
they're getting
with
their
them.
blue belts.
They have their
Like,
notebooks.
Yeah, as soon as
So they're
as-
training every night?
Yeah, pretty much every day. And now it used to be them, like, talking shit to me when they were younger and over the years, and now
They're respectful.
they're respectful, but
Hey.
they're also asking me questions now. They're asking me questions about striking. Like, Noah loves to box now, so he's asking me questions, like technical questions about boxing, footwork, different things. So it's been really nice to kind of see this transition of them.
It must be very special for you,
Yeah,
watching the kids grow up.
It's been really cool. I don't
It's a
have
blessing,
kids myself. I don't have kids. I don't think I'm ever going to have them. I don't want them. But having them at the gym and, like, I have another student, Alec, who I've been training since he's been 12, and, like, I have a really strong relationship with him, and he's amazing, and it's great to have these young guys at the gym, and I kind of have that bit of paternal,
It's very
feeling
gratifying.
with them. Yeah.
It's for you. It must be very gratifying seeing these
It is.
kids look up to you and seeing them get better too.
Yeah.
Like you said, like for us as kids, like
yeah.
I've seen them at the academy. I've never seen them roll, but I can imagine that.
as soon as they turn 16, they're getting their blue belt. Like, the knowledge they have is probably close to purple belt.
Fuck.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. They know so many techniques. They've been training. I have videos of them when they're like 5 and 6, doing
That's
crazy.
10 years.
Like doing crazy moves, like wrestling, like duck under, sprawl, boom, peek out, like doing crazy stuff. They're 5 and 6 years old. You know, high level
Now
grappling.
they're passionate about it. Like what?
Yeah.
As a father,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's the goal, man.
Gives me goosebumps.
yeah.
Best believe if I had kids, bro, you're gonna get foot swept a couple of times, bro. That's for sure. Aha.
But it's a difficult there is a line. Like how much, as much as you want your kids to do jiu-jitsu, you can't push them too much or else they're gonna resent.
No, but
it.
I feel like there's also a genetic pattern, bro. That's something that I don't a lot talk about. I don't think I've ever spoken about this on. Maybe I have, but when I talk to my friends, there's a huge. I think maybe I'm stupid. The fuck do I know? There's no science to prove this, but I feel like there's kind of like I see like a genetic pattern, especially in kids. Like I see it in kids that I feel like in their ancestors people wrestled, and I see the kids that in their ancestors people don't wrestle. Like you bring a 5-year-old here, you've never shown him a double leg, and he just shoots the double leg. And then you bring another 5-year-old here, and you try to explain to him what a double leg is for 18 classes, and he finally gets it. There's guys that are more prone to the sport, just like every other sport, bro. Like there's guys that are more prone to playing basketball than football. There's kids that are very prone to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's genetics, right?
Like-
Genetics and their temperament and
So this is a big thing that I've seen over the years. I feel it's more temperament. I don't even think in jiu-jitsu it's age related. You know, some people you teach them a move, and it's either two things. First class, you're showing them stuff. All right, let's roll. I always roll with my new students. Like the first day, I want to see, and you start moving around with them, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know anything." So it's like flight right away. Flight. They don't want to fight, and the other people they start fighting. They're like, "I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna fight."
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think kids is a lot of the same thing. Some kids are like, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't do. And some kids are like,
Personality,
boom.
the personality of the kid for sure. Like I think, like you can see it in adults, like you were saying. Like I feel like sometimes even day one, you roll somebody, even if they know no jiu-jitsu, you can tell if they have potential in the sport or not.
how was his kid's first day today? Day one. The kid
exactly.
today, right?
The kid today. You had a kid here day one. He didn't know what he was doing, but like I could tell that like just by the way his body moves and the way he like he was like, you know, he can learn stuff and he can get good. There's some
He's
people,
athletic.
and it doesn't even have to be like, but I don't think it's just athletics. It's also just like movement, and then also like you can tell like they're thinking while they're training.
Right.
Some people like when you roll with them, you can tell they just blank out, and it's like that flight thing. Like they're panicked or they're just spaced out, and you could tell they don't know where they are. Like, and I think. Maybe it's genetics. You said, you know, maybe their ancestors are Greco-Roman wrestler. Who knows? But I think some people just.
But I
pick
feel like
up
grappling
things
is so old, bro. That's why
It is very old.
It's
I
old,
feel
like
but
that
I feel
art-
it's also innate.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
When you're a kid, you don't punch and kick.
No, you
You
grapple.
grab.
Friends,
Yeah,
so
you
you
grab.
wrestle.
But that's that's why I feel like that's what I was trying to like. I feel like
think
people
animals
think
wrestle.
that's what I'm
We're
saying.
animals.
I feel like
Wrestle.
people
Animals
think they
wrestle.
invented
Animals
moves.
grapple.
Like no, but I feel like every move has been here for thousands. Like the heel hook. I feel the art of heel hook. I
see-
saw the picture of history on BJJ. The Sagittarius heel hooking the human.
the-
But that's
the
like
centaur.
that's like 11,000 years old. All right, bro.
Greek
So
mythology heel
right,
hook, bro.
okay, so there's people in their genetic code that have easier access to executing those moves than other people, bro. Like,
It's an interesting take.
like I've seen guys come here and I show an underhook, and I didn't show dogfight, I didn't show limp arm, I didn't show anything. But he gets there, he feels the pressure on his shoulder. He's like, if I turn my pinky up, oh shit, the hand slip. And I'm like, how do you know how to do a limp arm? He's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Maybe he's lying. Maybe he's done.
I don't know if they've done training, but also just like if they've done any sports, like just I think James has talked about. I've talked about this
Football,
with him, like
hockey.
the proprioception, like understanding how your body moves.
Like that kid you guys were talking about,
Yeah,
he played a lot of
hockey,
hockey.
Exactly. People who've played sports, they know how their body moves. Like when my knee can't go this way, my knee can go this way. They know, like they kind of understand these
That's
movement
true, yeah.
patterns. And then also they have the right mind for it because of that. Because like an arm bar, for example, intuitively makes sense to them because they know, okay, my range of motion's here. If I can take it past range of motion, I'm getting a break. You don't need to understand an arm bar to know that, right?
Yeah.
And I think like Greg Souders and the whole ecological thing, like people like get so mad about it, and okay, I get it. But a lot of what he's saying is true. That like there's a lot of jiu-jitsu that's intuitive and it's felt and it has to be experienced. And you can watch all the instructionals in the world.
If you don't
if you don't have the feel, then it's not. It doesn't make any sense. You're not going to learn anything.
That's true.
And to your point, I think you brought up a great point because obviously athleticism is going to play a major role. If you're an athlete and you know how to move, you know your body, it's going to help. But also mind. Like you said, I was rolling with this first class guy and, grabbed a 2-on-1. He said, okay, that's trouble. I can't let him do that. So, but he picked up on it right away. So now every time I would go to grab a 2-on-1, he'd fight the hands.
Yeah, or try to pull it back. Like
exactly.
It makes sense.
Kind of give you a reaction.
Understanding, oh shit, okay, that looks like, it seems like it's trouble. Let me not let him do that to me. Yeah. So that's, again, intuition and having the right mind of like, okay, this guy can pick up things.
Because it's not just athleticism. Like I've seen, in the time I've been training, you've probably seen it. Like I've seen guys come in the door that are really athletic. Like they played basketball, but for some reason their mind is not right for jiu-jitsu. Like they don't recognize danger. Like patterns. You said, they don't recognize patterns. They can't learn new things. Like maybe they were really good for their sport.
I'm joking.
But like athleticism is half it. But I think you also have like the right mind for jiu-jitsu and martial arts.
Jiu-jitsu is special, I think, when it comes to all the martial arts because of this.
Yeah.
Boxing, you have to be smart, but it's so fast-paced. And the way you set up a trap in Muay Thai boxing or like a striking martial art is so different than in Jiu-Jitsu. In Jiu-Jitsu, the pace can be slowed down. Even when we're moving fast,
it's not as...
It's still... You have so much time to think.
It's a very intellectual sport.
It is. It really is.
It's not as much reactive as it is in instincts play a huge factor in kickboxing. It's funny that you talk about this because I've been on a binge. I told you, the last 2 months to fall asleep, I've been watching old glory fights, and it's sick, bro. Because I realized that the guy set the thing up in the eighth. He knocks him out in the 8th round with a high kick. He's been setting it up since the 3rd round. He's been low kicking
the body, kicking the body.
When he realized that it's been 66 times that the guy dropped his hand, this time I'm gonna go high.
Exactly. So
and
it's you're setting things up a little differently.
Whereas in jiu-jitsu, it's right now. Like I have time to think about it right now.
Yeah.
Right now I have.
You don't have multiple rounds to set traps and feints.
There's nothing.
And it's like it's a longer, drawn-out game when, especially boxing. Like a 12-round boxing fight is like a mental warfare, but it's also a mental marathon.
How many times have we seen a first-round knockout in boxing? It's not that present. It's very rare.
It's when two guys are like.
But it's very.
Mismatched.
My point is it's pretty rare to see a first-round knockout.
And especially
in
like
jiu-jitsu,
high-level
you can
boxing.
see submissions in 3 minutes like this, bro.
Right away. Yeah.
So I feel like it's, but you can also have stalemates of 15 minutes, like who's number one.
You could. I mean, like, to me, like, I think also with jiu-jitsu, it's like there's a physiological limitation. Like, with boxing, there's like, the guy's athletic, like maybe he can like absorb a few punches, maybe he has a chin, maybe he doesn't. Jiu-jitsu, you get caught in a heel hook, your leg's gonna break or it's not. Like, it's not like you can't, like, you see sometimes even in the UFC, like some guys just have crazy durability and they're not technical, but they can absorb damage
and they win.
You go inside heel hook.
Like, you're not gonna win.
Doesn't matter if you're Gordon Ryan. Fully locked inside heel hook, your leg's going to break. Like, there's certain limitations, I think, that come to jiu-jitsu.
But then some guys have limbs. How many times we've seen an arm bar where you're like, oh my God,
course,
arm's going to break.
There's going to be the outliers for sure.
There's outliers.
Okay, so let's talk about a rear naked choke. When have you seen a fully locked rear naked choke? Guy
not working.
But that's the highest probability submission.
Quintet.
It wasn't full. Damn.
Brings out a point.
You think it was fully locked or no?
On my neck it was but he didn't
under.
have connection to my body. That's what it was.
It was under the chin. The chin.
But
I remember that.
No. It was fully locked. Crazy.
Crazy.
First time I had my hand in. The second time it was fully
when you
locked.
peeked for the
I looked at the time.
Yeah.
I looked like an idiot. I had my hand in. I got out. I looked at the time. This guy forearm across my chin.
Yeah, just gnarly crossface.
He's a good competitor, that guy, bro.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good. That was.
All that being said, bro, train jiu-jitsu, bro. Do jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is fun.
Put your kids in jiu-jitsu.
Put your kids in jiu-jitsu.
Everyone should do jiu-jitsu.
450 jiu-jitsu Laval, 450 jiu-jitsu Terrebonne. Tu connais les bails, tell them.
450 jiu-jitsu. Tu connais le bail.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add before we?
You guys have plugs? Anything you want to talk about? Everything's good.
Reach out to
Rob, yo,
Rob.
if you want privates in any martial art, I know we
Rob
say
MTL.
this, but literally Muay Thai, boxing, MMA, Jiu-jitsu. This guy just told you he's been doing Muay Thai for 20 years. He did MMA sparring. He's been doing Jiu-jitsu for 14 years. He has a lot
Come
of...
check out his tattoos, bro.
He has a lot of answers to a
See
lot of
these
your
tattoos.
questions. Look at these tattoos. Look at the earrings. Look at the ears.
Yeah.
You know he knows what he's talking
guy.
about. Really into anime, so for sure he's a good coach. If you're looking for anything, hit him up. Ninja Rob on Instagram, the one and only. Chris Alfar.
Anything coming up for you? Anything special happening?
You're going to chill now.
No, I'm chilling right now for the summer, but, shout out Grit Soap, shout out New Guard Jiu-Jitsu. Check them out on Instagram.
Grid Soap, AJ, our boy, trains here at the academy.
Yeah.
Shout out Grid
You can
Soap.
follow me at Alfar6 on Instagram.
There you go. There you go. Very high. I bust his balls all the time. In my opinion, probably like one of the smartest guys that I've ever met in jiu-jitsu. You fucking
I second that 100%.
Thank you,
Nice.
boys. That was fun.
love you,
you, guys.
boys. Yo, shout out TriStar, bro. We love you guys. Shout out all the TriStar boys. 4-5-0 jiu-jitsu, tu connais les fucking bails. 4-5-0 le podcast, on se check.